Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. You are all shining divine beings. Radiate, my friends. That's what we need today. Radiate, shine. Somebody recently told me it feels like you try to radiate, you try to shine some light into all this muddy darkness, and it seems simply to disappear. It doesn't do anything. It's not like that. That radiance, that shining is already there. We don't have to produce it. We just have to stop preventing it. And if one consciously is opening up to that, it's not that somehow this is wasted, it disappears and it's just muddied by the darkness. It is there. There is a lot of stuff going on that doesn't make it very obvious, but still, it's there. It should be there naturally. It's not that we have to become radiant. It is natural. It's just when we focus on our thoughts, busy with all our problems, worried about what is happening, worried about how it is going to turn in the future, then we are preventing that radiance, that natural radiance, from being there, from manifesting. All we need to do is to stop doing that. All we need to do is to come home and be natural. Let that natural beauty manifest itself. Let that natural divinity shine through this appearance. But as long as we are busy with the mind all the time, the past, what has happened, the future, what may happen, the present, what is happening now, not happy with it, then we are putting like a dark filter there. That hardly anything shines through that. If we learn to just be, it's simply there. And that is the best we can do for ourselves. And that is the best we can do for the whole of manifestation. There are a lot of destructive forces at work. And if more people don't fight with that, don't get sucked into that, but learn to just redirect the attention to be in their natural state, then this is a great contribution that this can end quicker and smoother. That this has to go, it has to disappear. Eventually it will. But each of us, we can contribute. When I talk to people about it, they say, what can I do? Well, we are not in a position to do anything. Okay, we may not be in a position to make political decisions to yield that power, but we can contribute by not being influenced by that, by not being sucked into it, by just learn to be aware that no matter what is happening externally, this inner pristine beauty, this shining divinity is untouched. In the earlier days when I was with Amma, I remember sometimes I used to come here, and then I go back, and one of my core disciples always asked me, and so, how are you? How are you now? And I kept on telling, I'm still fighting with my mind. And that's what I felt, what I'm doing. And actually, we don't have to fight the mind. It strengthens the mind. It's a fight and it goes on and on and on. We have to learn to somehow find a way to redirect the attention, not being obsessed with the thoughts, redirect the attention to something natural. Just consciously breathing is doing the job. If we redirect the attention to the simple fact that we breathe in and breathe out, then we are not feeding the mind. We don't have to fight the mind. Simply, if there is not that interest there in what we are thinking and thinking, if we don't think it's so important what we are thinking and thinking, but just let it be and bring the attention to that simple fact of breathing in, breathing out, then the thoughts will calm down all by themselves because we don't feed them with interest. It's not a question of fighting the mind and killing the mind. It's a question of redirecting the attention. Bring it back. What Ramana Maharshi would say, withdraw in the self. Just be here now. Everybody is conscious of being conscious to some degree. We are conscious that we are conscious. We are conscious that we are alive. We know that we are alive. We know that we are conscious. Why? Not because of some intellectual acrobatics, but simply because it's a fact. By being, just bring the attention back to that. Just bring the attention back to that which is the essence, that which is that awareness, that I'm alive, that awareness, that I'm conscious. It's not something strange, exotic that we have to develop. It's not something that is hanging out there somewhere behind the horizon and we have to struggle and seek and find it eventually. It's that makes us tick, that which makes every experience, every action, every sensation, every breath, everything possible. That's why a simple thing like turning the attention to that simple action that is happening naturally, spontaneously, breathing in, breathing out, brings us right in touch with that essential reality. While Ramana Maharshi still was alive, when somebody wrote an epic story as out of the old epic Indian stories, like like out of the Puranas. But then he came to Ramana and said, okay, now the situation in my story is that the disciple has approached the Guru and asked, give me please the essence of the teaching. But I cannot write this essence, please, Bhagavan, write that essence of the teaching for me. And that's how Ramana Maharshi wrote his famous, what, the Sara, Upadesha Sara, the essence of the teaching in 30 short verses. And he goes on explaining how one learns to become aware, how one learns to let go of the obstacles. And his very last line in these 30 verses, in the 30th verse, the second line is simply to abide in the self is the ultimate tapas. Tapas, for if anybody doesn't know this word, this is what is being practiced. And tapas for many people means to do some terrible, terrible thing. Deprive oneself from so many things and do things that are very hard, but they need not be. The ultimate tapas, aham sthiti tapo bhutamam. Abide in the I. Remain in that self. This is the ultimate tapas. If you do that, that natural inner beauty comes to the forefront. The experience of it will start to unfold. And then you radiate it. And you're doing something wonderful, not only for yourself, but for this whole manifestation, which is so daily in need of that. So, my friends, be yourself, be natural, shine, radiate. You are the lighthouses in the present times. It should shed a bit light into the darkness that is going on. Every attempt to really be in tune with that, to be natural, is the best we can do for ourselves. It's the best that we can do for the whole. We just have to remember, not just maybe do some practice every day and then forget all about it, but completely plunge into the world and forget about it, completely identified with this body-mind, the role that we are playing in this theater. No, remember, every now and then, let's remind ourselves, come on, just be here now. Redirect the attention from the mind, redirect the attention from the preoccupation with an external situation. We don't have to put something in front of our eyes, deny that it is there. It will still be there. It's not because out of fear that we have to withdraw should withdraw the attention from that. Simply because that what we are looking for is anyhow not there, but it's here now. It's that natural way of existing. Just bring the attention back again and again and again and again. Relax in that. Get rooted in that. Abiding in the I. In one way or another, simply bring the attention back to that fact. I know that I'm conscious. I know that I'm alive. I don't know it because somebody told me. I don't know it because I made made it out with my intellect somehow. I know by being. Can't possibly deny it. Somehow or other, we just have to find that way back. Somehow or other, we have to find a way that helps us to easy connect with that. You can do inquiry. Who is experiencing? Who is thinking? Who am I? Or you can just learn to breathe consciously. Remind yourself to be aware of the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, relax. It's happening now. It's not something we are thinking about. It's not something that is about to happen. It's that touch that is alive. It's that touch with life. It's that touch with consciousness. It's that which touches the heart, and the heart is opening, and the love starts to overflow. Everybody has access to that. It's not that some have it and some don't. Some specially privileged people, they have access. All the others are born barren from that. We just have to convince the mind somehow or other that it is worth the trouble to put the attention there, that it is not a waste of time, that it is not boring, that we are not losing anything if we are not frantically running after things, turning around and round, and exhausting ourselves for what? Just to try to grab some little happiness, just to try to grab some little wealth, just to try to grab some little personal advantage. Why are we doing that? Because we are hoping, getting happy doing so. And what is happening? We preventing that natural happiness from manifesting. And even when we are convinced that it totally makes sense, the old habit will carry the attention away. So we cannot just put it away and think, okay, I'm doing sometimes some practice and the rest of the time forget about it. No, we have to take the trouble. We remind ourselves. We can start the day with the intent to remember. Because as long as we don't remember, nothing can be done. But we can start every day with the intention, I want to remember. And if that intention is there, then that memory comes back. And the moment the memory comes back, we can connect. Without making a big fuss, without making a big story about all the time that has passed where we have not remembered. But we can learn to be consequent about that. Whenever that memory comes, immediately turn the attention back home. Here, relax. Everybody knows that they are conscious. Everybody knows they are alive. If we are putting the attention on that fact of being conscious, of being alive, then the laws of existence can manifest and flow and overflow. Then you become like a radiant light, like a lighthouse in these dark times. Your own experience will be full of joy, no matter what is happening. Sometimes on the surface it may be sad, and still behind that you're aware there is a profound joyousness of existence that cannot be touched. Okay, I stop talking to myself, by myself. And I'm asking you, my friends, is there anyone who would like to come in and say something? You are welcome to do so. Hello,
Hello,
Ravi.
Werner. Hi.
Hmm.
Um, so I have some questions about trying to understand behavior of some gurus, and I won't mention any names. And I
Yes.
guess yeah, I'm trying to make sense of it all. And I guess, yeah, the one, there's a couple of different behaviors. And so one of them is a guru um, from India who's no longer in his body. And my friend saw him and and when he was young, my friend was 30 years ago, and the guru said he was a naughty boy and told him to pull his pants down and put oil under the genitals.
Mhm.
And I said to my friend, "What was that like?" And he said, "Oh, it wasn't sexual, but I was just a bit confused about it."
Mhm.
And I've heard that this is something that happened, this guru does. And I don't feel I'm capable of making judgment about it because because he's got so many followers and all of that. But I'm also trying to, and I guess like some followers have profound, beautiful experiences of connecting to their divine self in his presence, and um, but I'm trying to. And then some people might say, well, he's taking away their karma, and some people might say it's that's wrong, it's bad. Can you shed some light on this? Because it seems, yeah, so that's my first question.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going at all into the story because I don't know it. And but what I can say to you, you just connect with those you feel natural, you feel at ease. If there is a teacher and you naturally connect, your heart is reaching out and you feel somehow inspired and uplifted and that there you feel there is a connection happening with that divinity, then you can very well open your heart. And if there are teachers that are doing things that we rather appall you, then you just accept, okay, this is not my cup of tea. You don't have to pass judgments. You simply know, no, I'm not feeling at ease with that, and that's it. You don't have to then think because some people say, oh, maybe you are missing a great opportunity, and they tell you if you don't connect, then you're missing your chances. Don't listen to any to that. The chance is always there to connect with divinity. And if a teacher is there who behaves in ways that somehow you just cannot, it doesn't sit right with you, then you just leave it as it is. And think, don't worry, if some people get something out of it, fine. But it's clear for you that is not some story I have to connect to. And then that's it. Without without somehow try to figure out explanations that would dishonor the guru.
What was that last bit, Werner? Something about figuring out explanations?
Explanations to dishonor the guru, to somehow uh, get him free from guilt. You don't have to put guilt, and you don't have to somehow feel that you have to do something that in your mind to take away that guilt. You just can, and you have the right, totally the right to say, okay, somehow this doesn't attract me at all, so I just don't go in that direction, and that's it. Don't be concerned about it.
Mm. And I actually do feel very blessed because I have I know where my heart is. Like I have Amma and other support, divine support or support in my life, and I feel I'm on the right path. I'm not looking for anything else in someone else. But I'm also curious about, I know there are gurus who over the years have had huge followings, and I don't doubt that they emanate something. And yet there might be things like them sleeping with students or whatever. And what I'm curious about there is, can one attain, how does that work? Because as one, I guess my question is, can one attain a sense, and I have no doubt it's possible, a sense of enlightenment? And I don't even know what the word enlightenment actually completely means in terms of there being a sense, a grade of it. I don't know what that means. Yet the whole ego hasn't completely dissolved, and hence it's still possible to do things like that strong sense to have sex with disciples is still hasn't been burnt up, or to have some power. Um, so I guess that is possible to still emanate that sense of love and stuff like that, and still be out of, I don't know if the right word is integrity, but I guess to still have to be out to still have ego there and base your actions on ego. Is that right? And how does that work with levels of enlightenment, and when how does it all work?
How does it all work? You find out for yourself.
Yeah.
Anyhow, a guru can really be free from the bondage. Somebody can be free from the bondage of the ego, be aware of that which is prior to that, be rooted in that, and then still do actions that people think they are egoistic. That sure is possible, But maybe from the guru standpoint, that action was not egoistic. Now, it's also possible to have a certain access to that divinity, but the old personality has still to work its own stuff out. And there are many like this. And they have a certain capacity to connect with people. They have a certain resonance, radiation, and that is attracting people, but they are also still working out their own stuff. And so sometimes there may stories happen that actually should not happen in that context. And a little trace of that ego will be there as long as the body exists. It's somehow necessary to survive at all as a human form. But it doesn't have the power to bind anymore once you have really seen through it. It doesn't create bondage. And is a category of saints in India. They are called the Avadhutas. Their job is not that they are gurus. Their job is not to attract the crowd. Their job is more on subtle levels that are setting things right. Prana Pratishta, the bringing down the energy on this level. But they often behave, they somehow usually don't take the trouble to adjust to the human standards of behavior. And then often they may behave that people are very upset about them. Think that it can be like criminal at times what they are doing, but there is not an egoistic motivation behind it. Somehow they may do what at the time feels right, and they don't care whether people like it or not, whether they get praised or blamed. But their job is not to be really gurus. They may have a disciple, they may have one or two that are close. But those who decide that they want to work with people, it's better that they also behave in ways that people are not confused by it. That's for sure. Because people always look first what the teacher is doing, and then second only what he's saying. and and often the followers of gurus, they imitate their guru, try to imitate their guru. And if they behave in ways that are rather confusing for the disciples, then they also will behave like this. And even if the guru is not getting into troubles because of it, then the disciples who are attached to their story will get in trouble. So again, for you as a seeker, you have totally the right to just not connect with stories that you think that they are weird. And then basically that's the end of it. You don't have to wonder, is he enlightened? How much is he enlightened? Is there enlightenment and ego and all that stuff? The I goes and the I remains. And as long as that is manifested in a form, there is a trace of the ego that remains, that has to remain just to keep that body going, just to keep that body alive. If you are not worrying about teachers who doing things that you don't like, then you don't have a problem about it. It's only if you think, but that shouldn't be, and then you want to understand, and then You want to, and why do we want to understand? We want to be on top of it. Just follow your heart. Connect there where you feel just natural. It's the heart is flowing out. There is a resonance. And then don't worry about the teachers who do things that you don't like. You just know, oh no, it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. And if people ask you, you can tell what you feel. And if they want to try to pull you into their stuff, then you have the right to say no. There is too much stuff there in that story with which I cannot uh, be at ease. So I just stay away. And then sometimes people tell to others, but you're losing opportunities. It's only your ego. And we should never get worried because of such things. You're not losing opportunities if you are alert, awake here now. You don't lose any opportunity. You connect with that divinity. And if people come and say, ah, but you should go there, the experience is fantastic, but something is in you that feels, no, 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 no. It doesn't feel like connecting there. Then simply don't connect and don't after that worry in the mind, maybe I should have gone because maybe I would have had the opportunity to get something special. That special that we are looking for is in yourself. It's here, it's now. And if it has to happen that somehow a manifested teacher is involved to help you connect, then this is also happening. And if there is stories where you feel no, something is resisting, then don't let people tell you, oh, it's only your ego that is resisting. No, no, no. Then it's a natural resistance that you don't want to get involved in stories that rather confuse you than help you.
Thank you so much, Werner. That
You're
helps me
welcome.
let go of the whole drama.
Yes, there are there are enough dramas coming along the way by themselves, so we don't have to hold on unnecessarily to other dramas. Huh? Yes, very good. Hurry home.
Thank you.
Hurry home.
Hurry on. Hurry on.
Is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome.
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Leela.
I might have to turn off the gas
Ah,
in the middle. So I have a question about what you spoke before about thoughts and coming back to the essence, or
mhm.
did you say essence or to
Yeah, it's the
myself?
same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same. Okay. Um, so what has been happening is that I realized that the mind does its thing, but the thoughts are not very supporting. And also, because I hear so much around me from the journalists and people who try to explain what is happening and to discuss it and to analyze, and eventually I can see that they don't know, but they speak and speak and speak and speak.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make me feel better because they don't know. And of course, I want that somebody will know what
Yeah.
will happen next week. But now, the way things work here, it's that um, it's like only the sky is real, really. I mean, otherwise, it's, yeah, of course, when when soldiers get killed like almost every day, it's like a shock. And this is also very real. Otherwise, everyday life just like moves on. And I less and less have to take decisions because I do this, I do that. It's okay, doesn't matter. It's like a flow of action or non-action. So, I've learned so much, tried to learn from my teachers how to notice the thoughts and say like it's only a thought. And it's weird because it is, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of energy that we are born with.
That is a
It's man's
question.
nature. Yeah, I know my tendency to. No, so this is my question. It's the man's nature. So to think. So actually we try to stop the thoughts or to not believe them, or
We have to put them in the right place. Yes, we have that capacity to form consciousness into reasonable thoughts. And that capacity is something beautiful. It's a tool how that inner beauty can be expressed on this level. We don't have to destroy that capacity of thinking, of forming consciousness into thoughts. It's a tool that should be used where it's necessary, where it's useful, and put aside where we don't need it. But somehow something has happened, has gone wrong, that instead of it being a tool, it has become the master. And one has learned to think and think and think compulsory all the time. And the thoughts have the tendency to go round and round in the same grooves. And with all that thinking, we keep our own experience. We keep our own reality alive. And that reality is very limited. That is the manifestation of our thinking. If we learn to not think compulsory and just be, and then there is the situation and thoughts come along with it, and then we can think those thoughts. And those thoughts are creative and they help us deal with the situation. Then the situation is gone and we can let go of the thoughts. Then the thinking is an extremely useful tool. But as long as it's the master that just goes on and on, compulsory, unbearably, repeating over and over and over and over the same thing, then that's why all that talk is about it's the mind, get rid of the mind. We don't have, when there are thoughts, then we talk about the mind. When there are no thoughts, there is no mind.
Can you repeat this, the last sentence?
Yes, when there are thoughts, there is a mind. When there are no thoughts, there is no mind. When we are thinking, we call it the mind. When we are not thinking, there is no question of a mind. There is no such a thing like a mind that somehow we have to control and maybe kill and do something with it. There is just
with the mind.
Yes, no.
Something with
that we have to somehow like tame the mind like a beast, kill the mind, that is not more there, or what all the things that are being told. There is no such a thing like a mind. It's not like an organ in a subtle body. It's not like the heart, that in the physical body, there is a heart in the physical body. We can see it, we can touch it, it has a function. There is not such a thing like a mind, but there is that capacity to put consciousness into reasonable thoughts as a tool to express that inner beauty. And if it's used for that, then it's beautiful. The trouble with the mind, with the thinking is that when once it is established that we think most of the time, not even aware that we are thinking, then it has taken over. Instead of describing and expressing the reality, it's holding on our personal, very limited vision of reality and reinforces it by thinking about it all the time.
Yeah. So it makes it clearer to me what I tried to say before about trying to understand the situation through thinking. And there I have to notice when the thinking is like obsessive, when it's followed by fear or worry or stress, or when it's like clearer and cleaner and yeah, you understand. Was it clear?
Alexander, you maybe should turn off your camera.
Mm.
Anyhow, yeah. Yes, when it's becoming obsessive, when we repeat the same thoughts all the time, when we are thinking, compulsory, not being aware that we are doing it, then the mind, the thinking is the obstacles. It's that is obscuring that inner beauty instead of somehow expressing it. And then that's why all that emphasis to learn to turn away from the thoughts, because as long as we are interested in that obsessive thinking, in that which goes on, and we cannot stop it, then somehow we are missing that which is prior to it. So let's redirect the attention to simply being. Now, you are talking about you want to understand the situation of the world, the situation what's going on, and there you cannot go without thoughts. But you can get information, you can think about it, but you can also accept the information is always limited and biased and twisted, and so you may not know totally what is going on in detail, and thinking about it, it's not going to clear it up. Then rather connect with the situation and keep quiet, and you have a certain awareness of it without knowing the details, but still you have an awareness. Oh yes, there is something, a food that needs harmonization badly, without knowing every detail of what's going on. By trying to know every detail, then it's me, the person, want to somehow be on top of the situation. But you, who you are already on top of the situation. You are prior to the situation. You are untouched by the situation. Come back to that and look at the situation from that perspective. And then even if you don't know all the details, there is a clarity about it. But the clarity without getting obsessive, without getting feeling always depressed or hurt by it, then we can just see, okay, for the time being in manifestation, there is something very disharmonious, there is great unrest, that there is a lot of pain and suffering. It's a period, it's a phase that goes, but there is always that which is untouched by it, shining, beautiful, complete. If you connect with that and then look at the situation, even if you see things that are not nice, it cannot somehow throw you out of your balance.
Well, but it does anyway, yeah. I understand what you're saying, and I'm also aware of that, and I can feel it sometimes. Still, it's a challenge, yeah.
It's a challenging situation, of course,
yeah.
and sometimes it may overtake you, but then
Yeah.
even then you can remember, I'm not finding my way out of it by thinking and thinking and thinking about it. You don't have to suppress the thought, but simply learn to redirect the attention where you can, to a space where you can let go, where you can relax. And then
just one, yeah, sorry, yeah.
And then the tensions start to flow away. And with that comes peace and clarity.
Yeah, so just important for me to hear again from you about the radiation, because obviously I'm not the issue here. It's some people that suffer a great deal.
Yes.
Unbelievable. So I guess I can maybe work towards radiate.
Right.
I mean,
The more,
not do anything about it, just put it in my head, just be aware. Some people
yes,
suffer like
right.
really.
And if you are aware of that, and that, then if we stay with the thought of it, it has the tendency to pull us more and more on this into the same thing, and we also start to suffer.
Okay,
But
okay, yeah.
and then all we are doing actually is adding more suffering.
Okay.
But if you are capable of seeing the situation, seeing people suffer, and at the same time you are aware, but there is that aspect that is not affected by it. You come back home to that, then actually something very beautiful from you can flow over, being aware of the situation where people suffer, but you are not being pulled into that suffering state. You are aware that no matter what is happening, still this is unblemished, this is untouched, it cannot be hurt, that essence of existence. And if you are aware of that and see the situation of people suffering, actually something very beautiful flows through you and to them and gives them help, whether they are aware of it or not. We cannot go around and help everybody physically, but whatever comes to your mind and you see such situations, you can also, some people do that, and that's okay. Sending good thoughts, helpful thoughts. But the mainly is to just be in that potential of existence. And from there, it radiates by itself, it flows over by itself. In the meantime, if on the physical level somebody comes along and we can give a helping hand, fine. But we don't have, we don't have to run after, and we don't have the possibility to go and remove that physical suffering, those situations everywhere. They are there. But we have the possibility that even if we are aware of them, even if we connect with them, that we are rooted in that which is not hurting, and that gives a help that is very profound.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hario. Hario.
Carry on.
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Nava.
I will continue on from what Lila was talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's um, I've really been lost lately for some time now, partly because of the suffering around me. And again, I have not been directly touched by that in a very bad way,
Yeah.
but there is so much. That's one thing. And the other thing is we have talked about evil in the past, and I'm finding that very difficult. There just seems to be so much evil and so much hate. And my difficulty seems to be that either I can put all of it aside and then perhaps connect to something that you're talking about inside of myself, or I get completely lost in it, which is what has been happening lately. And I don't seem to be able to be open to the suffering because it's there everywhere,
Mhm.
and yet be connected to something else inside of myself. That balance just,
What was the last sentence? You cannot be open to
I
the
can't,
suffering?
I can either be suffering along with everybody else
Ah,
and seeing all the evil, which I am also a target of all the time now.
yeah.
Or I can somehow push it away and connect to something in myself, but I cannot seem to hold both of them at the same time. And it seems to me that that's what I need to be doing.
Hmm.
I can't pretend these things aren't happening. I can't even say I can't pretend that somebody isn't trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me all the time. That's a fact of life right now.
Yeah.
So how do I just can't seem to be able to do both at the same time.
Hmm. Nothing can kill you. Hmm. Hold on to that aspect. At the same time, you cannot somehow miss the other aspect if it's so intense, if it's simply there and comes knocking at your door like this. But make it into a priority that you bring your attention to that aspect that is not affected by it. And then try to let the other come in doses that you can deal with it, that you are not being yanked out of that. Because you said then either that or this. And if you are that, then you're somehow pulled out of this stability of being.
Mhm.
So you can try to deal with it in doses that you are relaxing maybe the defenses you have built up, that not to let it come in. You relax and let that awareness come in, but at the same time just keep on holding on to that steady, unshaken aspect in you. That awareness of being. And eventually you become aware it's not either or. You can be aware that on the level, in manifestation, there is trouble and there is danger and there is suffering, there is hatred, and there is destruction. There is also love, and there is also selflessness, and there is also beauty. But seeing all this, you can be aware, but there is something that is prior to it. That simple awareness of being alive, of being conscious. Don't fix your idea now that it is like this, that it is either this or either that. But open the heart to the possibility that you can be rooted in that indestructible, beautiful essence, and then at the same time let the awareness of the disharmonious manifestation come in without shaking you out of it. And even if it pulls you out, then you find a way of just coming back without trying to put a wall around yourself. Sometimes for a moment it may be okay, but then let the wall down again, consciously. Not think that this is dependent on a wall around it is not. Sorry, you're muted.
The only way of putting a wall up is by actually totally isolating myself, and I won't do that. So I think that's part of the problem, is it just keeps, it's there and it keeps coming in the form of all sorts of things. I'm not really afraid of dying. I'm not worried about someone killing me. What bothers me is the evil. That's what keeps getting to me again and again and again. And every contact with anybody, there's always suffering. And so I think that's been the problem, is it just keeps coming in and coming in. And so it's very difficult to keep coming back.
Even when it comes in, while it comes in, don't lose it. And if you lose it, you'll find a way. If it really yanks your attention completely out of it, then when you collect yourself and you remember, say, okay, got me again, but right now I'm just coming home. Not scolding yourself that this happened again, not making it worse by also being negative about yourself, and just that you simply say, oh, really got me again completely, but right now I can come home. And not in fear, but in the knowledge that actually this is always here and I cannot be hurt. And now the evil part, of course, what is evil? That is consciousness that has moved away and cut itself off from that naturalness. That has not more, that naturally, it's just our nature to be conscious, to be energetic, to love. This is natural, it's not something that we have to develop. And then there is consciousness to somehow cut itself off from that, and somehow tries to get kicks that usually gives the sense of fulfillment simply by being, as long as you are natural. And then that consciousness tries to get kicks out of intense situation, and that they become evil and more evil and more evil. It cannot be denied that it is there in manifestation. A lot of it is there. You cannot go out and somehow explain it to them. There is no openness, but you can be aware that you cannot be really touched by that, except if we start to open our mind to it and start to get curious about it. But otherwise, if you are sure about yourself, that you are pure, you are untouchable, untouchably pure in your essence, then that evil cannot hurt you. Externally, we can be killed, our body can be destroyed, our world can be destroyed, but not what you are. Make that awareness stronger and stronger, and then you can look the evil in the eye without fear being sucked into it, without fear being hurt by it, without fear being overcome by it.
I think it's less fear and more just absolutely overwhelmed lately by how evil human beings can be.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's overwhelming. It's terrible. Yeah. As I listen to you, I can see that the struggle in me. How is it possible to feel what I am genuinely when all this is happening? How do you not lose faith, and how do you not lose hope? And it almost at times feels unreal.
Yes.
Um,
And you cannot artificially produce it, but you can bring your attention back to it. And then that faith is there because that the experience, the awareness is there. No matter what, that simple fact that I am conscious, I'm alive, is an expression of something that is so utterly invulnerable to any of this. And you can strengthen it by consciously coming back to that again and again. Whenever it pulls you out, come back again and learn to relax in it. And then, of course, it may leave sometimes someone speechless, seeing what is possible, what people are capable of doing that have estranged themselves so far from that. But in a way that can be one more inspiration to make sure to connect and not to just be overwhelmed and think, oh, it's hopeless. We are dead. There is simply darkness. There is not. There is always that light of existence. And you are prior to light and darkness, untouchable. You are the pure light that is first. Connect with that. And remind yourself to connect with that. And then it's better to accept situations the way they are, instead of thinking it's just not possible, that cannot happen, it should not be like this. Because there you get in a futile struggle and losing all your strength. If you can accept it, however unbelievable, but it is as it is on that level, but you have all the strength, you have all the energy that you can connect with that which is not affected by it, then that faith in it comes by experience. That yes, no matter what, this is unblemished. It cannot be hurt. It cannot be extinguished.
Thank you.
I wish you well. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come? You're welcome to come in. Hello, Freud.
Hi, Werner. Yes, I was talking to a friend who I met in Dharamshala many years back, and eventually she came to Tiru. She came to many places, but then she decided to. I don't know if she's decided forever, but right now she's in Bali and staying.
Sorry, Floyd, I cannot more hear you. Somehow your connection has been cut off. Or is it my connection? Can anybody hear me?
It's Floyd.
It's Floyd. You can still hear me. Yeah,
Yeah, but he froze.
yeah, he froze.
Yeah. I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Now I can see you. Yeah, so maybe we can try again.
Yeah, so I was talking about a friend who was settled, not settled, but living in Bali now. And the same year, I sort of decided to stay more in Thiru and things like that. So, is it this search, like there is some kind of search which most people have, maybe not so much in India, because people are very poor in India. But in the Western world and modern world, there's a search to find your tribe or find your community. So, is there anything you want to say about this, like, or is it just something that you just get lost and find?
Anyhow, I didn't hear before what you said, what that lady did, but now from what you're saying, she was looking for her community somewhere. And you are wondering
Yeah,
whether one should do so. It's different. It depends the person. Some people are feeling much more secure if they are in a community, and then guess it's helping them to go and find people, like-minded people, live with them, at least for some time, get strength from the group consciousness, from the group energy. If you don't feel like doing so, then no, you don't need to do so. You are complete in yourself. You don't have the need of a group. It depends totally the mind, the thinking, the feeling of the person. If they feel that is helpful, then that can be very helpful. But if you don't have that pull to go and be in a group, be in a community, then you don't have to think, you need not think that you are missing something.
yeah. But is there something like, I think somehow I feel like even after moving to Thiru or anywhere else,
Sorry,
I think eventually,
your connection is again so bad. You're totally breaking up. I cannot make head or tail out what you're saying.
okay, sorry, yeah. So I'll ask next time. Yeah, thanks.
I think
Floyd, you can try only audio without video, might be better.
Can you hear me, Werner?
now I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, so what I was asking is essentially people are the same everywhere. So we will always have certain complaints because we reflect things in a certain way, about other people.
Yeah.
But is there like something like an ideal place which one can find, or is it a matter of experimentation, or is it a matter of changing oneself in some way?
The ideal place is your own heart. At the same time, if you feel drawn to a place where you feel that there is a lot of resonance and you can be at that place by all means. But then I see also people searching for their ideal place and go on and go to one place and then find out, no, it's not the ideal place, go to another place and searching and wasting basically a lot of energy for something that is not so important. I don't think there is an ideal place in this world on this level. There is nothing ideal for wherever you go. There are positive aspects and negative aspects. But if you find a place where you feel supported and you can go deeper with your own work, then it's great, it's wonderful. But we don't have to always think, oh, if I only would were in another place, then it would be better. There we are spending lots of time and lots of energy for nothing. The ideal place is here now in yourself. And then externally let it sort of uh, crystallize itself out if necessary, if you have to change place. But basically just search for that ideal place in your heart, in yourself. And then the external story will somehow adjust itself.
Mm. Yeah. 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 Is there any importance of Om chanting? Means that this is a different topic.
Yeah.
Om chanting, like if you chant Om, they breathe in and they chant Om.
Mhm.
And some people chant it as Ah, Om, Ah,
Yeah.
different sounds. Ah, Om.
Yeah.
So, have you found any usefulness or importance for this kind of practice?
It can be very quietening, but you have to not simply in your mind think, oh, it's a useful thing, and then do it, but somehow feel it from your heart that you like to do that. That it's something that then that you really want to do, then it becomes an expression of that inner harmony.
Mm.
Some people say, some traditional people say, you shouldn't chant Om loud at all, or it's only for certain people that they are allowed to chant. And then others say, no, 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 you should chant Om as much as you can. Do as you feel like. It is one of the helps. There are many helps, and we cannot use them all, but we can pick out those where, to which we have a certain connection that we like. Where there is a resonance, then certainly chanting often a beautiful sound like Om, the, that certainly
Yeah.
can help to balance out energetically and quieten the mind.
From what I understood is that traditionally in the mantras like Namah Shivaya, they say you shouldn't chant Om if you are not initiated with, the Guru Diksha or whatever.
But
But
traditionally, there are many sayings like this, and I wouldn't too much worry about any of this. Do that which you feel from your heart is right, and then that's right.
yeah. But there's a question that we chant Om, which is fine, which is an external practice, but essentially Om is the cosmic sound which sort of reverberates, and then I think maybe 15 years back, I don't remember, 12 years back, I went to a spiritual school in North India, and they said, we are initiating you to listen to Om, the Anhad Nad.
Yeah.
To listen to the Nad, and then they do certain practices where they close the ears with earplugs and all that.
Yeah.
So some of the people here might
doing
get
that mudra.
No, not the mudra, but
Yeah.
it is like you hear it very prolonged, so you use something like earplugs. which
Yeah.
the Westerners use for preventing sound in India.
Yeah.
So the earplugs, the earplugs. So they use earplugs, then they cover the head, then they cover the entire crown area with a cloth, and then cover with the eye, what do you call it? The thing which you use to cover your eyes during sleep.
Yeah.
Blindfold. So you blindfold and you cover all the openings on the head, and then you sort of start listening to a vibration inside,
Yes.
which could be a very subtle, sound. And after some years also, I would hear it without doing all of that. I could hear it, but now maybe it is still there, but I don't give too much attention to it. And the idea was that you listen to it so that you go into eventually fall into a state of samadhi.
Yeah.
So you go on listening to that very fine sound. So would you say that is the real practice of Om or something like that?
That is one practice of all, and people who like to do that, that's great. So let them do so, but it's not really that you have to do so. You can block all your senses as much as you want, and the mind can go rum, 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 rum. It's the mind that is the trouble, not the sense organs. It's that compulsion to think. If you can reduce the income of disturbing elements by closing the ears or closing the eyes, it's okay. That can be helpful, but it's not something one has to do. What matters is our experience here now, that we learn not to be carried away by the mind, by the thoughts, but stay in touch with that. And that's what they do that for is the purpose is that you're getting less disturbed, that you're getting more directly confronted with something subtle. And that can be helpful, but only if you really want to do these kind of things. If you impose that simply because you think it could be helpful, I don't think there is much benefit in it. So if you don't feel like going back to these kind of practices, don't think that you are missing something. Just stay tuned in the present. You can take the help of hearing the sound that you say is still there, but you don't give much attention, or you can just be without that. It comes to the same.
Yeah. So in Sufism, they talk about this, divine sound, divine light, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they say it is a vehicle to go towards some super conscious state,
Right.
like samadhi or whatever. So, do you recommend sadhana with aiming at a particular state, or you recommend that you just be and not, aim for any state?
Mm. Aim for being yourself. Aim for being that which is. Now, whether I don't recommend it, and I'm not dissuading it. Anyone who wants to do so, it can be helpful, but it's not something one has to do. So it's not something that I say, oh, there is a certain stage you have to go through these kind of practices in order to go beyond it. For some people who like to do so, it's a good thing to do, that step by step progress going through that state. For other people that don't have that affinity, it would not be helpful. It would be a roundabout way, just rather one more distraction. Just be here now, but not somehow here now in a closed up consciousness. Just not in a way of, oh, I'm just here, I don't care about anybody or anything. But I am here open, like the consciousness of a little child, basically curious to experience, curious to be, curious about reality.
Yeah. But if you're aiming for a spiritual state, let's say, then you can get that also. I've heard now, like there's a substance called MDMA, which I've never used. But someone told me that with that you can get an experience of pure love. Then, like anything you see will be pure love without, that other factors of attraction. You just feel pure love towards the dog, towards the flush in your toilet, or everything.
Yes.
So somewhere, then that is in a way an easier route, maybe more dangerous, but more easier if someone wants to attain a state. And I said that is an experience.
Yes.
An experience is probably of the mind in some way. So any experience that happens is a mind, but I understood so far that one can have amazing experiences and then not really see big impact in the living, day-to-day living. Is
Right,
that
exactly. You,
is
especially
that
with this
also
kind of
working that?
experiences, with experiences that have been artificially induced like this, it's not even really the right, the real thing. It's an imitation that can be very impressive. It's there as long as the chemical works in the system. Some people got inspired, but those who have then finally benefited from such an experience that artificially came by drugs are those who get inspired that they decide, okay, now I'm getting myself to work because I want the real thing, not the imitation. And of course, some people can do that again and again and have that experience and feel so loving to everything. But once uh, the effect of that is over, then the old habits are because of that not removed. That job cannot be given to anybody. It's not a drug, it's not a guru, it's not anyone who is doing that job with somehow or other cannot go around that. That is what people think. Often also with the modern teaching of Advaita, don't worry about all that. This is known only the mind. Come back to the self. But then when we come back to the self, that's exactly the old habits that prevent us, and we don't get around, at least to some degree, work on that and remove that. And drugs are not going to do that either. Shall we leave it at that for today?
Thank you, man.
Hario, Hario.
Yes, thank you, man. Hari.
Wherever you are, whatever is happening, what you are is not changing. It's not something complicated. To learn to bring the attention back to the essence. We may just have a vague glimpse, but nobody can deny, I know that I am. I know that I'm alive, not because somebody told me I am. You are that shining divinity all the time. Somehow or other, you just have to come back. Certain things can help. Certain things are disturbing. If you are alert, you see that clearer and clearer, what is helpful, what is disturbing. But this in its essence, is not affected. All we have to do is to remove the obstacles. And the more we are doing that, the more that inner divinity, shining presence is radiating through that manifestations. Shine, my friend. Radiate. I wish you all well. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.